Greg, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Man, I am doing fantastic. I've been looking forward to this for a long time and glad we're able to do this today.
Yes, it's been a pleasure. I mean, we've been discussing for quite a while. I mean, your background is you've done so much, right? Started in the TV stations and media experience, video production, moved to commerce, e-commerce, launch brand, did some amazing things. Maybe just for our listeners that doesn't know or don't know you too much. So maybe you can start by sharing your experience, and you can start whenever you feel it's relevant for our topic today.
Yeah, so I'll start with like today, I'm the head of growth at Grommet. We're a product discovery platform that helps thousands of brands really go to market and get their product in front of millions of shoppers. But the path to getting there has definitely not been a straight line at all. I started at 16. I was actually like a rapper in a rock band, like a Linkin Park, 311. And I spent the next 7, 8 years on the road touring the country here in the United States. And that was during the age, and I'm going to date myself here, of MySpace, right? Like this is like early MySpace days. You were one of the
Yeah.
first bands with over 1 million fans and friends or whatever you were calling it back then. And when I got out of the music industry, I was approached by a lot of businesses who were saying like, hey, all the stuff that you did with your band, can you do that for my business? Like, how do you get my business all these friends and followers and, get attention? And so, got into the media space for businesses, helping them to create videos and create content and create media to tell their stories, and did that at a few agencies for about 15 years, did some amazing stuff in the media space, hosted TV shows, won Emmy Awards, did documentaries. I've got stuff on Netflix and Amazon, and, got to travel the world using media. And around the pandemic time, the media business that we had at the moment just kind of fell apart because we were flying, couldn't fly, right? We were flying people into us. They didn't want to come to us. And it was just a bad time. And I decided I really wanted to get into e-commerce. I had this passion for a product that we created at the time. It was like a nootropic creamer. It's up here in the corner if you're watching the video version, called Rise. And I fell in love with e-commerce, and I saw all the things that we were doing in media, right? Creating videos, creating stories, captivating people's attention, getting them to fall in love with both the product, but also the people behind the product. And I was like, man, this is super cool. And had an opportunity to come on and be part of the team that acquired the Grommet from Ace Hardware and bring it back to life. And it's been a heck of a ride. We built the platform back from scratch last year. It's just about a year old with the new platform. And we've got about 3.5 million shoppers in our community. And now we've got over 1,000 products live on the platform. And it is a great time to be in this world and helping people. And yeah, from rapper in a rock band in high school to helping e-commerce brands 20
Amazing.
years later is kind of a wild ride.
Nice. So we covered also the fun fact part of the episode. So thank you for that as well. I'm really interested in this video production, scripting, all these processes and how it helps you with e-commerce, because video production, a successful one, is all about storytelling, crafting the right story. Tell us about the steps that you took in the video production side of things and how this helps, marketeers out there and you when launching, Grommet and the other e-commerce businesses.
Yeah, I believe like early stage, no matter what business you're in, whether it's e-commerce, service, SaaS, like whatever it is, in those early days, it's all about the relationship that you have with your customers. And it's that personal connection that you have. And I feel that the best way to create that personal connection is doing what you and I are doing right now, right? We're getting to know each other. We're getting to meet each other. People are hearing me talk. They're seeing my voice. They're seeing, am I animated? Am I quiet? Am I soft? Like, do they
Mhm.
like this guy, or like, man, this Greg guy talks way too fast. I want nothing to do with him, right? But it's that connection that you have with the people that is so important. And I'm a firm believer, and I've been talking about it, for years, is that people buy from people, and they buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And on the internet today, with TikTok shops, with Temu, with all of these different brands that are out there selling cheap goods or insignificant goods, or, the TikTok video looks really good and then you get the box in the mail and you're a little disappointed. Trust is so important. And trust, I think, is created on a personal level, like me and you on this podcast right here, right
Mhm.
now, today. I can't fake if I'm good or not at what I do. When you're asking me questions, I either have the answer or I don't. And so I believe that early stage makers, inventors, founders, product creators, getting on camera and talking about their product, talking about their journey, talking about, hey, you and I were just talking about this product that just came in. Like, hey, I just got my first prototype in today. Guys, let's unbox it together. Now you're bringing a community in with you. And in an era where, that video is maybe a long form YouTube video, it could also be chopped up for a YouTube short, an Instagram reel, a TikTok video, a Facebook video. Like now you've just created multiple pieces of content, multiple ways for new audiences to discover you, which is huge. Your existing audience to hear from you over and over again. And I think you bring people along in the journey. Coming from the music industry, like one of the things I always joke about is like I've got to see so many bands as they got their start when they were playing dive bars in front of 15 people, 50 people, 100 people. I remember there was a Florida music festival here. I was one of the openers on a different stage, so I didn't get to open for her. But Taylor Swift was performing at Wall Street when she was 15 years old, just with her guitar, and there was maybe 30 people watching. You want to be one of those people that said, "I saw you back when," right? When you were just getting started. And as they grow, like those are your super fans, your champions, and video is the best way to do it. I think the one thing that people, especially early stage, are like, well, I don't have production. I can't go hire somebody to spend 10 grand on a video. And I'm like, dude, you have a phone. Like you have a webcam. Like I'm just using a webcam right now. Like jump on and just talk about the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And people get so engaged in that. And you get better at what it is that you do. You start to word vomit. You start to talk about, why you're creating the product and the problems that it has. And people are asking questions and you get to be a part of the community. So I know I didn't quite, I kind of more talked about it from a theoretical standpoint, but I just believe that trust on the internet is so important in order to generate a sale. To get somebody to take out their wallet and give you money is so difficult. And video is that medium to create that initial connection, to create that trust, that bond, and get them to open up their wallets.
Yes, of course. I mean, no one wants to buy from someone they don't know, right? We need to build some initial foundation, some relationship, have some emotional connection to the brand. That's very, very important. I'm so happy that you've been discussing about video, because this is exactly what we pitch at Vimy, right? Video is such a powerful tool for authenticity and relationship building and creating this loyalty and really differentiating you from the others in terms of the way you approach the market. So how you can build this, let's say, communication and private relationship, not private, but maybe people feel that they know you, right? In a D2C scenario, it's a kind of a one-to-many type of approach, right? What are the steps? What's the process that you usually put in place?
Yeah, so I think what you need to do is first you need to overcome some of those fears of like that it has to be perfect, right? Because that's not what people want. In order to create that connection, like you were just talking about, to feel like you know me, well, I got to show my flaws and I got to show, some of the things that aren't absolutely perfect. Now, does that mean that I used to coach doctors how to do videos, and these guys were terrible on camera, but I would like do it in their office, and they would have like a wastebasket behind them with like bloody gloves and like vials. I'm like, no, let's not do that, right? Like that's a bad example of showing, some of the flaws. But what I mean by that is like this product comes in and I'm going to unbox it today. It might not be perfect, but let's talk about it. Like, hey, I don't like the way this strap gums, or the box kind of opens a little funky. Like sharing some of those faults with your product along with your audience, I think is huge. The other side is it's repetitions. There is no way to get around this. I coach a lot of youth sports, and the way that kids get better at their jump shot or bunting or fielding the ball in baseball is they do it every day. They take reps every day. They take ground balls, they throw it to first. They take another ground ball, they throw it to first. And the same thing is true with video. Like you don't get good at video the first video you ever shoot. I'm sure if we look at your old stuff, you look at my old stuff, it's really bad. But you stick with it. You have perseverance and you do it over and over and over and over again. So I think those are two components. The actual tactical, like one of the things that I think is so important in the early days to build that muscle with video is to do it live. And I know live streaming isn't as cool as it was before, but here's the thing. If you do it live, well, now you're setting a date and a time. It's on the calendar. It is scheduled. Because if you're just like, yeah, I'm going to film some video today, guess what? 700 other things come up on your calendar and you don't do it, right? Like it happens all the time. But if it's scheduled for Wednesday at 3:00, you show up Wednesday and do it at 3:00. So I think that's one, is you have to get it in the calendar. It has to be scheduled. You have to, prep yourself, get ready for it, do whatever you got to do. If you're Tony Robbins bouncing on the trampoline, if you got to do a couple push-ups, you got to do whatever you got to do, get yourself ready. The second thing that I love about doing it live is you do get audience participation and you get their questions. I think questions and answers is the easiest way for makers to get started with video, because you don't think about it, right? Like if I was just asking you like about your service, I'm like, all right, so tell me what it is that you do. You don't panic and you go, wait, I need 5 minutes. I need to go write a script and I need to get ChatGPT to fix it. And I need to,
Yeah.
we'll just answer the question. And so I think questions and answers is one of the best ways to get started because you just answer it. So, hey, why did you make that dog leash? Like, why does your dog leash have this on it? Why does this cup, why does the lid open like this? And you just, oh, the lid opens like this because it actually creates a better way for the liquid to come out and it keeps it cooler. Like, you just answer the questions. And so I believe that live video and then Q&A and getting your audience involved is one of the easiest ways that you can go and create video. The final piece of that is the repurposing side, right? As you do it live, you get the audience. Let's say you answered 5 questions, well, those can become 5 different videos that you then, put out on, the short form platforms, right? Your TikToks, your Instagram Reels, your YouTube Shorts, things like that. So to me, that is the mechanics of what I would recommend. And I would say at least once a week. If you're starting to get a little better, you have enough audience, maybe you want to go more. But again, this doesn't have, you also don't have to wait till the product comes in. This could be, hey, I want to show you guys, I want to pull up a screenshot of the sketches that we did for our bag, right? If I'm these guys, Kanga Coolers, I'm like, hey, I want to show you some of the colors we're thinking about. What do you guys think about the colors? So you could be doing it in the lead up. That's going to create that build up, that anticipation. And then obviously once you get product and you go live, you can be doing it there as well. But to me, that's the mechanics of what I would do in the early days to create some confidence and some momentum.
So consistency is like key, right? You need to show up there almost every day, and it doesn't have to be totally polished and really high production value. Find an app, just quickly edit it, and 30 to 60 seconds. Live events is also very, very important, like a weekly show or something of that sort. Just to I understand the aspect of the Q&A, that I think it's very, very important just to get real-time feedback from customers and really being able to answer them. And for them, it shows that you're for real, right? And if there are more people from the same company who are doing that, there is a new trend now with EGC, which is the employee generated content, that creates much more powerful brand loyalty, and they show that this brand is for real, and the culture of the company these are all very, very important. So so we talked about consistency, like daily. How do you generate content ideas, like the topics that you want to discuss about and share more information?
Yeah, so idea generation, to me, I do it in 2 different ways. This is me personally. One is I'm 100% a fan of using AI to generate content ideas. Like it is one of the best research assistants that you could possibly use. And just going in and going into whatever your service of choice is, Claude or ChatGPT or whatever that it is, going in and saying like, hey, I have this really cool product that helps drinks stay cooler longer. Can you tell me like who would be a good market for this? What are some of their biggest fears, problems, anxieties? Like what keeps them up at night? And let ChatGPT spit that out. And then I would have ChatGPT, okay, cool. Now write 3 questions for every single one of those problems that they have that I can then answer in a video, right? And so like you use ChatGPT and you can generate dozens and dozens of ideas very, very quickly around that side. So I think that's one approach, is using AI to generate those ideas. I still believe that the answer should come from you and it should come from the head and the heart versus coming like now I wouldn't go like, all right, now ChatGPT, give me the answers to those questions because I want those to come from a place of like, where does that come from? And I always do head and the heart, right? Like it's got to come from a place where you genuinely care, right? That's why you made the product in the first place, because you care about the person that's going to buy it and they're going to get to live a better life because of it. And then also obviously from your expertise, your experiences, the things that you've done. So the head and the heart is always where the answers come from. The second side is I am someone who is always just capturing ideas. So I use Evernote. I don't whether you use Evernote, Notion, OneNote, Apple Notes, don't care, whatever service that you use, but I just capture ideas all the time. Now that could be like for Grommet, it's like if a brand leaves a review, a good one or a bad one. It is someone posting about my brand. I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn all the time. Like, did someone just say something cool? And I'm just plopping it into Evernote. So whenever I go to a live, whether even like doing a show like this, I skim through Evernote to think about like, all right, what are some stories that I want to tell? What are some brands that are doing some cool things? And so like I have this like idea bank in Evernote that I'm always pouring over. So I never am lost for ideas. And I do believe that the more ideas that you can have, the less pressure it puts on you. Because if I have 20 different ideas, well, idea number 1, I'm like, I don't want to talk about that today, or I'm not feeling it, or I don't have a good answer. But idea number 7, cool, boom, let's go. And you might, that inspiration spark. So I think it's AI and just always constantly be, looking for inputs that can create outputs. I learned this from Dan Kennedy and the direct marketing side. Is he's like, always be feeding yourself inputs, newsletters you read, podcasts you listen to, books you read, videos that you watch, social media. All of that should be input that you can store somewhere to create output later.
Yes, 100% fully agree. I mean, a good place to start is just creating a list of 50 problems your customer might have, right? I mean, anyone can do that if he's a business owner or if he's a marketing side, and just start to create solution for them. Showcase your product from time to time, discuss about industry trends or market trends. This is very, very, very good. So what happens if we do that? So we are consistent, we go live, we have this amazing content planning, and we do this for the whole year. What is the bottom line? I mean, why this huge investment is so worthy?
Yeah, because, well, obviously we want to do it to get customers, right? Like that's the point. So I think in pre-launch stage, it's to build your email list, right? Build a pre-launch list. I'm a believer that every piece of content should have some form of call to action in it. Now, that doesn't have to always be buy my thing, 10% off. Here's the coupon code. Sometimes, yes. Other times it's, hey, if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, do whatever. Sometimes it's a question that you ask and you're trying to create engagement, and you want people to leave questions like, hey, we're thinking about creating a blue, a red, or a green. What color do you think that we should create? And you're trying to generate engagement from that side. Other times, yeah, you're like, hey, if you liked what we talked about here today, we're getting ready to launch our Kickstarter on this date, or we're going live on, February the 5th or whatever the date is. Go to myawesomewebsite.com, sign up for the pre-launch list, and we'll get you 15% off. Like, there should always be some type of action that happens within the content, right? Again, it could be very soft, like, comment, subscribe. It could be harder, right? Join an email list. Or it could be, hey guys, it's our summer sale right now. It's back to school, and we have it's a deal, right? And it's limited time, and you use all the sales tactics. So you have to be using this content to drive metrics, because as much as followers, likes, all of that is awesome. Like, you can't go to Bank of America and say, hey, I got 100,000 likes, right? They don't care, right? They want a check, they want money. And so we have to be able to transition this into something that we can do something with. And again, even those engagement metrics though, right? So someone, you talk about the red, the green, and the blue. Which color do you think we should do? And someone comments green, and then you actually make green. Well, hey, Johnny, just wanted to let you know the green bags just went on sale today. So you can go back and comment on those posts and turn those into, commerce opportunities for your brand. So I think you always have to be moving people to engagement. The passive followers, yeah, they're great. They inflate your numbers, maybe help the algorithm, all of that great stuff. But you have to be moving the metrics that matter in your business. And ultimately, that's really one of two things: email list growth and sales, customers.
Yes.
Those are the two metrics that matter at the end of the day.
Obviously, it helps with brand awareness, with helping people considering your brand, and even when they're ready to make a decision, then support it with the right content. I feel it's going very well. So probably last question on this topic, then we move on. What are your thoughts today? There is a lot of hype these days, a lot of focus on funnel-led content and funnel-led growth, versus probably creators content or influencer marketing. What are your thoughts? How can you encourage leaders to create more content by themselves? Or because not everyone are happy to be in front of a camera, but we know it's very, very powerful technique.
Yeah, I think it's I'm a big believer in play to your strengths. If you hate doing something and it pains you to do it, it's going to come across in your content. If I have to force you and like drag you by your neck to create a video today, it's going to come across. And so you have to, I think, know what it is that you are the best in the world at. And if you're a better operator, then yeah, go, like you said, find the creator, find the influencer, find a brand advocate, find a customer who's a champion for your brand, and help bring them to the forefront. I believe that as a founder, like, you have to be front and center in your business. Like, that is my personal belief. But if I have to pull teeth to get it out of you, then yeah, like, let's look for something else. The other side, and I know we've been talking a lot about video, is that video also isn't for everyone, but that doesn't mean that they can't be a creator. Because Twitter still works. If you're really good at writing, Twitter breaks through. If you're really good at business content, LinkedIn. If you're great at images, Instagram, LinkedIn, carousels, Facebook still works if you're going after the boomer and millennial generation. So everything works. I think you just have to find out what works for you. And so, like, video, like, I'm 100%, I'm a believer. I think that every brand on the planet should be doing it. But that's my personal belief. Like, if you're a better writer, go write something. And so find what works for you. And that's ultimately what's going to serve your business in the best way.
Obviously, if you like audio, so you can launch a podcast. That's also a possibility. So you work with many businesses and business owners around video and video production and video creation. Obviously, helping them with brand awareness, with thought leadership, converting users to real customers. Obviously, this is a very powerful organic vehicle. And from that step, you decided to continue and launch your own brands and actually work on the e-commerce side. And so, what triggers you to make that transition, and what did you find in e-commerce that you're so passionate about?
E-commerce is hard, and so we were joking before we went live, like, everyone just start a brand, right? And
Right.
it's passive income,
It's
mailbox money.
passive income, right? No,
It's
that's the
like so
problem.
easy, so easy. You know, I think that there's two things that I believe in is that one, you have to believe in your product and you have to believe in the community that you're in. And that's not always the case, right? There's so many people who are just like, just find a niche that's a hot product selling on Amazon and just make that product. And like, I'm not a believer in that. Does it work? I'm
Doesn't
sure
work
people are doing
today,
a
yeah.
great job at knowing that forks are killing it on Amazon and they're going to go create their own version of a fork. I think the best products are the people who are passionate both for their products, but also for the community that they are in. Do you live and breathe in your community? And so when I went to go in the e-commerce space, I was really into high performance, into flow state, into how do I get the best out of myself so that I could be a better entrepreneur, a better dad, a better husband, all of that stuff. And so when I went to create this product, I created it with that in mind. Like I wanted to create the perfect product for people like me, high performing entrepreneurs, professionals who are, pushing the pedal to the metal at work and at home, and ultimately created a really cool product. It was a coffee creamer. Loved it. And I loved the community because every day I got to talk to entrepreneurs. I got to talk to business owners. I got to talk to professionals. So it was the perfect marriage of product and community and market. And I think that's ultimately what led me into e-commerce is I wanted to serve those people at the highest level. I wanted to create the best product. And I knew I was doing people a disservice if I didn't get my product into their hands because I knew it was genuinely going to help them. And I think in today's marketplace, with how much competition that there is, how many marketplaces there are, how intense search is, how expensive Meta is, all of these different discovery avenues for brands, what is the thing that's going to make you stand out? And I think it comes back to you, your story, why you created your product, and the community that you help. Like those are the two things that are going to stand out more than anything. Because if it's just like, hey, I got a cup and I put a logo on it, that's a really hard place to be in. And that's not a business that I would be happy to be running right now in
Sure. So what is the methodology? I mean, how do you qualify and research for opportunities and qualify those products?
So I'll speak to a lot of grommet makers because I think that's the community that I serve the most is like these people of like, they almost always scratch their own itch. They had a problem, whether in their own life, a family member, someone, close to them, and they couldn't find what they were looking for in the marketplace. And so ultimately they decided that, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. Right. Like I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to create this product. So a great example of this is Nicole Cuervo from Spring Rose. So her grandmother had a disability and she couldn't put a bra on. Right. And so as guys, we don't have this problem. But women, it makes them very uncomfortable. It makes them self-conscious. They lose their confidence when they have to go out of the house. They can't put a bra on. And it mentally like destroys them. And so she saw her grandma not want to go out in public, not want to, go to these big events because she felt embarrassed. She felt shame. She didn't feel confident to go out. And so she spent years and years, putting together a bra that you can actually put on 9 different ways for any female with a disability, whether you have arthritis, whether you only have one arm, whether you have half a hand, like all of these different ailments, 9 different ways to put this on so that any woman in any situation could like, holy crap, like great personal story. It's about her grandma, right? Like who doesn't love helping out grandma and now helping all of these people in this dire situation. And she gets to be a part of that community. And the letters that she gets of people saying like, I got to go to my daughter's wedding. I wasn't scared to leave. Like that's the most gratifying thing in the world. And you can gravitate from that and move with that. Another great one, Cressa Peterson from Shower Toga. She got a deal from Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. And she was doing these Spartan races, the mud races that you see all the time. And she was a female and she would get all muddy. And she's like, I don't want to go shower with a hose in the corner, right? Like, I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to put myself out there. What if something falls out? And so she's like, there's got to be a better way to shower outside, outdoors, in public. And she spent a very, very long time. She went to sewing school to learn how
Hmm.
to sew, to build her own product. And she was using diapers that she would get at Walmart, and she would sew them together to create this like towel, and ultimately became the shower toga. And, it has a passionate market, like, tens of thousands of people doing these races every weekend that she was a part of. She's in the community. She knows the problem. Those are the kind of businesses I think that have so many legs today, because I had a problem. I can't find a solution. I'm going to create the solution, and I'm in this community. I'm part of this world, and I can just introduce it to that world. Like, those are the businesses. That is the playbook that I think is really advantageous for makers today.
Yes, very, very interesting. So you identify those opportunities and how Grommet helps. What tell us about Grommet? How what are the services that they provide? And I know it's a product discovery platform in a variety of sectors and categories. Tell us more about this platform.
Yeah, so we are very maker brand friendly, and it's been that way since the beginning. So Grommet's actually been around since 2008. It was acquired by Ace Hardware. We acquired it from Ace Hardware about 2 years ago, and we're rebuilding this community really from scratch. There's over 3.5 million shoppers. That's across email, social, and then we have about 1 million folks come to the website every single month organically, which is awesome from search traffic. And what we really try to do is we try to find these new and emerging brands as they're going to market, as they're like, hey, I just spent forever, learning how to sew and building this shower toga. What the heck do I do? Do I go
Hmm.
spend a ton of money on Meta? Do I go to Amazon? Do I do UGC? Do I try to get influencers? Like, cool. How about you come to Grommet, and we'll put your product in front of millions of shoppers for you for free, and see how viable your product is to real shoppers who spend money with their own wallets. So when they come, they go through what we call launch week. It's the first seven days that are on the platform. And there's 15 products that launch every single Thursday, and they compete with each other. They share on social. We send emails to our newsletter list. Like, it's just big competition for 7 days. And it's not that Greg says this product is cool. It's that millions of shoppers say, you know what? This product is cool. Until you upvote the products, you buy the products, and it moves them up the Grommet charts. The higher you get up on the charts, the more visibility you get, the more shoppers, those million folks that come organically, what do they see? The ones that are at the top of the charts. And it is a great place to go to market to get those first, for some of these brands. I remember Candy from Rest Angles, like, really cool product for short people when they get in planes or cabs or buses and their feet don't touch the ground. She created this thing that you just put on the ground, you pull it out of your purse, boom, and now you have a place to put your foot. She's been trying to sell this on her Shopify store for 2 years, hadn't
Hmm.
made a single sale. Like,
Yeah.
how beat up are you? And you're trying everything. She goes on Grommet, sells 60 of them in 1 week, right? Like, you
Wow.
think like 60, like, that's not, like, to her, that's life changing. She validated that she had a product. She just needed to find the right marketplace for it. We have other products that do thousands and thousands of sales. And the first 7 days, there's no rev share, no commissions, no acquisition costs. So we actually send you all of those sales for free. After that, we have a freemium model where all organic sales happen free, and then there's a rev share on promoted sales. We also have really cool promotional partners from all kinds of major publishers that pick up Grommet products and ship them out, like the BuzzFeeds, the Daily Mails, New York Post of the world, Epoch Times, like all these amazing publishers that look to Grommet to find the coolest products that then share them in their newsletters, websites, and things as well. So it is a distribution platform for new and emerging products to come in and find and get that initial traction, to give you hope, to give you, what? It was worth it. I created this product. I'm getting real sales. People are coming to my website. They're giving me feedback. And every day, just we see makers who have, they're trying so many different things. They come on to Grommet, they get that initial traction. And, we like to say it's going from undiscovered to unstoppable. And that's really what Grommet is for
Wow.
these makers.
Amazing. So it's you place the orders in Grommet, right? So it's the whole checkout process is in Grommet, so kind of a marketplace business model,
Even
right?
better than that
Yeah.
is we are basically the front end sales engine. We actually direct all the traffic to your shopping cart. So you own and control the customer.
Hmm.
Again, going back to what you and I have talked about earlier, is I believe that the best way to build your business is to own the customer. Now you can send them a follow-up email. They can get into your, hey, follow us on social, like, see the content. Like, so everything pre-sell happens on Grommet. They pick the color, they pick the size, the shape, whatever they want. They hit buy now, and it goes right to your Shopify store to check out. So you're actually getting that transaction data. You're fulfilling it how you would normally fulfill any order, and you get that customer data, which we feel is so important as a new and emerging brand, to know who your customers are, to go talk to them, to call them, to survey them, to learn
Hmm.
why they're purchasing from you in those early days.
So if I'm a brand, I want to work with you. What are the niches that you work in, and what is the process to sign up to the platform?
Yeah, so niches is like if you have a new and unique product, we want to launch it, right? And so there's only a couple markets that we don't play in. We don't do a lot in the supplement space, the beauty space, the fashion space. Again, if you just have, I love my hat that I'm wearing, but we wouldn't sell this, right? Like it's just, we're not the marketplace for that. But home and housewares, gadgets, health and wellness, outdoor living, kids, parents, travel, like all of that stuff does really, really well on Grommet. Our core audience, 60, 70% of our audience is a female 50 plus who's buying for themselves. They're buying for their husband, they're buying for their kids, and they're buying for their parents. So it does kind of get the whole scope, but that is the buyer. Gifting season is huge for us. Like it is still one of the best platforms on the planet to find new, unique, original gifts. And so, yeah, if you would love to, if you're a brand who's listening to this, you're like, yeah, I want to get on board. This sounds awesome. We'd love to have you. Just go to thegrommet.com. At the top, there's a giant button that says submit your product. Right now, we are only integrating with Shopify brands at the moment, but still fill out the form anyway, because we have more integrations coming. And then we also do have an ad package for, if you're on WooCommerce or BigCommerce, something like that, we do have other options, but just hit that. It's a Shopify app, and then you build your own page. It's self-serve. It takes a couple minutes to build that out. And then I check it out personally. I usually shoot you a Loom video and I'm like, hey, here, let's improve it. Let's optimize it. Let's rock and roll. And then we get you on that launch calendar, and you have that launch week, and, you try to rise to the top of the charts. And it is a really, really fun time.
Wow, interesting. So you have a Shopify app, so you just sync PDPs from Shopify, and they're visible on the platform, and you can just work on wrapping up the product pages on Grommet and continue from there. Wow, really, really interesting. And what are some of the tips that they can provide, for brands out there today in, where we are, 2024? What's working today in marketing? What's the best way to sell these days?
Yeah, I think we talked about some of these that are like the video stuff, being front and center. I think, building in public is just so powerful. I talk about that so much, like ad nauseum. Like I think that's one of the best strategies. I think looking at some of these platforms, it doesn't just have to be Grommet. There are other platforms out there, marketplaces that have customers, and doing partnerships with them is invaluable because they already have, the shoppers are already there. And then the third side, at some point, I do think in order to grow and scale, you do have to get paid advertising to work, whether that's, influencers, UGC, TikTok shops, things like that, or, you figuring out how Meta or Google or some of these other platforms are going to work for you. So I think it's like this, let's use organic social content, I think is huge, especially in the beginning when you don't have huge budgets. Then I think it's like growth mechanisms, like platforms like the Grommet. And then third is I do think the scalability comes from the paid side and figuring out how do we get paid to work. And then within all of that, right, like retention and talking to customers and getting them to buy more and optimizing. One thing I will talk about really quick is offers. I think that most early stage brands have terrible offers. It's just like, hey, I have a cup. It's $19.99. That's not an offer. Right? What is, do you have a money back guarantee? Do you have a return policy? Like all of that stuff. Do you have bundles? Do you have buy one, get one free? Do you have buy one, get a certain % off? Do you have a free shipping deal once you hit a certain threshold? How do you get your average order value up? So instead of spending $19, maybe they'll buy 2 cups for $35. Maybe they'll buy 3 cups for $50 and they get free shipping. But now you just took a $20 buyer to a $50 buyer. You're getting rid of more inventory, so you can turn that faster. You're getting more cash flow. Spend more time optimizing your offers. One of the things we see on Grommet all the time is that shoppers don't usually just buy one, right? Give them an option to buy 3, give them an option to buy 5, because they have, multiple kids, or they have, multiple people in their family, they have different rooms. Like, how can you create better offers to create more cash flow for yourself? And then you're able to spend more money to acquire customers. You're able to turn inventory faster. You get cash flow in. Like, I don't think enough brands spend time on offer. They're just like, all right, this phone case cost me $6. I'm going to sell it for $20. I make 14. Like, I think that's all they think about. That's their whole strategy. And that is, to me, that's not a very good strategy.
Amazing, Greg. We covered so much. How people can find you, Greg, in the platform?
Yeah, I think, thegrommet.com, of course, that's where I want you to go. But I am at Greg Rollett all over social, Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm probably the most active, at least in the D2C space. And if you want to see pictures of my kid playing baseball, at Greg Rollett on Instagram, that's kind of where I live. So yeah, super easy to find. And I think, I say this in a lot of podcasts, and I really mean it, is that if you got any value from what we talked about today, screenshot this podcast, share it on social, tag both of us. I think that's the best thank you. Like, if you learn something, you're like, man, that episode was great, I love this show. Screenshot it, share it on social so that more people can listen to the show, can subscribe, because that's how we all grow together when more amazing brands are listening to great podcasts like this.
Yes, amazing, Greg. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add?
No, man. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been a blast.
Likewise. Thank you. Bye.